I'm a hippo.
Broadcast Hippo. Digital media.
Come on!
I'm a hippo.
Broadcast Hippo. Digital media. What is up, everybody? Good morning. Get start the show here in a second. This show powered. Wow, Gina's smiling. What the fuck is that? So weird.
Powered by cannabis.
Cannabis. Gotta love it. Gina smokes it. She looks like she's smiling like an evil clown.
I don't smoke it.
Or takes it, rather. Ingests it. Ingest is the more proper word because you do the gummies mostly, right?
Yes.
I hate how one eye is bigger than the other eye. It always annoys me.
Looking like Popeye?
Yeah. Like my left eye is always smaller. Even when I like try to open them, and then my left eye is smaller. I hate that. Every picture does it. Maybe my eyes.
Well, it's because nobody's face is perfectly symmetrical.
Yeah, yours doesn't look like you have a beautiful face. And
yeah, but one of my eyes is smaller than the other. You know, it's just you focus on it. Oh
God, look at that.
But yeah,
you know, I think my left eye has ingested my cannabis, and the right eye hasn't got it yet, and it's not as relaxed. I don't know what's going on.
I call that your paranoid eye. That eye that's always looking out for other trouble.
Anyway, go to Teebs of Adrian. Teebs.green is the website. Medicinal, recreational. It's all right there for you to check out and enjoy.
And now, our feature presentation.
This is Ed McMahon. And now, here's Andrew.
I said, Andrew Z. In the morning, it's time to wake up. Andrew Z. In the morning, yeah. Come on.
Good morning. Monday, May 10th, 2021, in the year of our Lord. Demetrius Nicodemus. Eastside, Southside, Juniper, Cabela Media. Chris T-Fall. Donnie P. And producer Georgia T-Fall. It's Monday morning. Tashi is here. Josh is here. Ooh, Thaddeus Chalice. Let's do this.
Andrew Z.
Whoa, Donnie.
You're over majolated.
Woo!
That was the worst ever.
See what happens when my TV or my computer's the same way. People mess with it and stuff's not plugged in and Mondays it always happens. Thaddeus Chalice, love Thaddeus. His dad was just an amazing man. He says, is anyone else watching the countdown and going, man, I'm way too drunk for this?
I wish.
Right?
Oh, we're echoey. This is a very Monday, guys.
I know. I think it's Donald.
Donald, get your shit together.
Right. Okay.
I think I'm together.
How was your Mother's Day, Georgia? Happy Mother's Day. How was your Mother's Day, Tina?
It was fantastic. I want to show you guys something. I am the most spoiled person ever. Look at this shit. My kid. It's almost all my kid. Hold on, I'm working on it. There we go.
One kid?
Yes. The biggin.
Kids buying you bras?
Yes. She loves it because they're very expensive. I have very expensive taste.
Okay.
And
She.
Mom, hey, if it was a he, he's like, Mom, put this on.
Yeah.
No,
I got you some boob socks. Happy Mother's Day.
I have very expensive taste, and she knows that it's stuff. This is stuff that I like, but I won't spend money on myself because I'm too busy spending it on them.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes out and buys the things I should want to buy for myself, but I don't.
So it wasn't one of the foster kids going, hey, Mom.
No, that's creepy. Don't be creepy. Don't do that.
I mean, we can't get much more creepier than buying underwear for your mother.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, if you're a dude, but if you're a girl, then that makes it very different.
Yeah.
How?
Gina, can I ask real quick? What's the money on the table for?
Yeah, she did that. So for she just spoils us so badly. She's like her love language is giving gifts. So that's what she does. But like every year, we always do that with money. So like for her birthday, I'll take like 10s or 20s and do like little flowers out of them and give her a bouquet of money, like a couple $100.
You roll
that kind of thing. But yeah, she's a gifter. It's how she shows appreciation, and she cash in the bag and all that Bath and Body Works. And then I love Crocs. Like I hate regular shoes. So her and Dubs bought me a couple pairs of Crocs, and she bought me a pair of Crocs, and Dubs like I didn't have to do anything yesterday. I told him what I wanted for Mother's Day was to not have to think. I don't want to think about anything. I don't want to plan anything. I don't want to deal with children. None of it. So he just, and he works third. So he got up early and held it down all day. I got to take a long ass nap. It was a beautiful day.
Damn.
That's why I'm smiling, because I didn't have to do anything yesterday. He took care of dinner.
Nice.
Like all of that. And then plus I got all those presents. So yeah.
You know, I know some married women who evidently, if that's what it's called, just sitting around and not doing anything, have Mother's Day every day. But nobody in my house. I will say that. No one in my house.
And my dad took my mom, my sister, brother-in-law, niece, and Dubs and I out to Final Cut this weekend too. So I also had Final Cut this weekend. That George's Tomahawk Steaks reminded me of that, because that's what I had.
You know, I have an issue with, not an issue, but I have a quandary with Mother's Day every year. Because Colleen and I went out to breakfast and took a couple kids, but everyone is wishing every woman they see Happy Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day. It's sweet. You know, they're trying to be nice, courteous, great Americans, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I find it awkward, and I never say Happy Mother's Day to others that I do not know, because I don't know if they're mothers. You know, and then I really like, how can you determine, like, and what if that's hard? What if that's hard for somebody? So, and like, Happy Mother's Day. Oh, thanks. I'm not a mother. I've been trying for 8 years. And if it's not working.
And that's the thing.
But thanks. I took a flyer on somebody on Saturday. I was like, I took a shot at it. Happy Mother's Day. We were parting ways, and they left, and I was just like, pretty sure they have kids. I'm pretty sure they do.
And then
let me get on Facebook and see.
Donnie, perfect point. And then if you do kind of know them, and they're like, God, that asshole doesn't even know me. I don't have kids. Why would he wish me had kids? It's like, I just don't do it to people I don't know, because I do feel bad for people that don't have kids, that aren't mothers. And you can't ask. I mean, it's weird. Hey, do you have kids? Oh, Happy Mother's Day. Like, you can't put the qualifier up there. You just have to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's why February is such an easy month to give shout outs on, right? Because everybody knows if you're black and it's Black History Month. Like everybody, like nobody goes, unless you're real light skinned or like one of my kids. Like you could, you're like, is he? I don't know. His music says yes, but his voting patterns say no.
Well, that's like being a mom and no one tells you Happy Mother's Day.
Did Black History Month have a traditional greeting?
But you know what, though? Here's the thing. Isn't Mother's Day, shouldn't that all be like random strangers shouldn't be yelling that out to you? It's a moment for your family to acknowledge the things that you've done.
Though.
I was out for strangers.
I was out and we were at a wait at a restaurant, and a guy walked in the door and saw a couple women there. He's like, Happy Mother's Day, and walked right by to go sign up to wait his turn at getting food. And
almost as creepy as buying your mom underwear.
What's that?
It's almost as creepy as mom underwear. That's just weird. He's right. It's for your kids, your husband, maybe, to do something for you. It's strange. It's not a stranger's holiday like Christmas.
Chris, it's not like they were like, hey, Mom, try these Crocs on with your new bra and let us see how it looks. It's not how it went down.
It's not like they took her to the store and was like, go in there, come out, and let me see how it fits.
I guess if you're picturing your mom in her underwear, it makes it creepy, Tifo. So maybe you're the problem there.
Mom.
It's creepy, period.
Mom.
Kid buying their parents something intimate like that.
It's like, Mom, run around in this bra. How's it fit? You feel faster? Has it? Is it? Can you
I do feel faster.
Like,
Where's bounce?
where's your nipple in the bra? Show me, wiggle your nipple so I know if you got room to grow.
Hey, mom, thanks for the show. Here's a 20.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
I mean, it's weird. It's weird if your son does it. I mean, I would think, but if your daughter's doing it,
it's weird if it's your daughter doing it
because she knows how expensive bras are, and she knows how important it is for a good fit. First of all, she spent half her life smacked to the front of it, getting nourishment.
One of the tests of how well or how good a gift is how often you're going to use it. Now, that's something that's going to be used all the time. So that's a very thoughtful,
I agree,
and practical gift.
Gina strikes me as a woman who doesn't wear bras in the summer.
Totally wear bras in the summer, D.
Were they sending you a message? Mom, come on. Shut those things down.
Yeah. Were they like, look, this is the last time we're going to get looks sitting out at Nettie's because somebody here just really needs a Sunday.
Yeah.
We're like,
No.
Does make it even
Tweety.
I'm a little less trailer park trash than that, D. Just a little.
Yeah.
A little.
Mom, you're asking too much of that Tweety Bird t-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It looks like you have matching warts on the sides of your stomach. Those are nipples, Dick.
Let's make it even creepier. Like Tasha says, you got your kid there. Hey, Ma, wiggle your nipples.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God, I can't. All right. So there's a controversy brewing. First of all, how was everyone's weekend? Does anyone have anything? You got anything you want to throw out?
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
All right, real quick, and this is totally off topic of Mother's Day, and everybody had a great Mother's Day.
Okay.
All right, my son is 5, right, and Fortnite has made him fall in love with Predator. Okay, so we had been debating on whether or not to let him watch these movies. So I was like, the early 80s ones, with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover are really, they're cheesy. They got dumb lines. All right. So, but does anybody else's kid root for the villain in movies?
I have one here that does.
Literally broke down into tears because Predator never wins in the end. I'm like, like we watched Predator 2, Predators with Adrian Brody, where they were trapped on the Predator Island. All right. And literally Cohen was like, when is he gonna win? When? I'm like, he's the bad guy. The bad guy never wins. And he goes, that's not fair. And I was like, first of all, syndrome. Like, what is going on with you? Like, it was just the craziest watching him break down over the fact that like green blood was being spilled all over the ground. And it was just not fair.
Yep, I do. I have one of those here, D, that he always cheers for the bad guy. It makes me crazy.
I was just like, who does that? I'm like, good. I'm like, nice, good people always win. And then it got somehow that saying, what is that? Nice guys finish last. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
Is that the saying?
Yes.
All right. And I'm like, and Kara kept on telling him that. She's like, nice guys finish last. And I'm like, honey, that's not the message we're trying to send.
Well, nice guys and Predators finish last.
Yeah.
You know what though? I think back in our day, D, the bad guy was strictly bad. Like he was a bad guy and he did all bad. He was evil. He was evil from the day he was born. But like movies have progressed now and there's more of a gray area. Like even Thanos, like his intent to wipe out like half the population was to save the other half. Like it doesn't make him a good guy, but there's some gray area between good and bad.
So are we gonna be seeing like a personality piece on Hitler?
I mean, I think when we're talking about two different things now. We're talking about real life and movies.
I know. But I'm just you're right. And that was an unfair comparison. And I should have used that to like try to win my argument. You're absolutely right.
You personality pieces on Hitler.
He wasn't fond of the Jews, but God, he just loved the Germans.
Yeah.
So
There's definitely some
I wasn't
similarities.
thinking in terms of that. I was thinking in terms, but you know what I mean? Like the villains have that gray area now. So you can feel sorry for the villain.
Right. And
in the movies.
And I wonder if it's messing with their minds. You are right, Gina. They have skewed scripts more to give them at least a side of humanity to where you're like, oh gosh, he's not
Well,
that bad.
All villains have an origin story, which brings me to my question for you guys. Have you ever had like a moment or an interaction between like a perfect stranger and it didn't really go their way? And like you part ways, you're like, I may have just created a supervillain. I don't know. This could be bad for mankind down the line.
This could be bad for mankind. Wow, what the hell happened? It's so interesting. It's like, wow, I think I just destroyed that person, and we may all have to pay in the end.
Like honestly, like that is the general theme of my parenting. Is don't create a supervillain.
So
like,
true.
I don't want to be on the news like going, I don't understand any of this. He was a Boy Scout. We hugged him. You know, I don't like that is my whole thing.
Well, and you look at like the worst in real life, like look at the worst criminals. And this is the first time I've ever thought of this, Donnie. You look at the people that have done the worst things, they have ex-girlfriends. And they're like, oh my God, what did I do to make
the supervillain?
Right. Dude, is there any guilt? Is there any modicon of guilt in these women that are like,
do you know what it is? Like remember the times when you would see like girls and couples break up and then the next thing you know, like the girl or the guy would get engaged like 2 months later.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, so did he just find everything he didn't want in a woman in you? Is that what it was? He was like, wow, I don't like any of these characteristics. I'm going the exact, like, this is like, was it you that really cemented the fact that you're not likable?
It's like, wow, I've been with this woman for, this has been my girlfriend for so long. And all of a sudden I find you and God, I didn't realize how horrible it had. I've got to lock you down right now.
Yeah. Like, why'd you want to marry her? She didn't stab my dog. That was the first thing that I realized.
So what happened, Donnie?
No, I don't know. I've never really. I was trying to think of an example. I'm just saying there's got to be something.
I can tell you that I have absolutely created villains. Without a single doubt, I'm sure somewhere down the road I created villains for sure.
Or at least people who don't like me strongly over something. Like I have a friend who just had another baby. He just found out he's going to have another baby, and he was like, "Oh my God!" But I sent him a video laughing. Like, because I knew like it was exhausting for him. And I was just like, and I laughed and I was like, but I sent it anyway. But I know now he probably doesn't like me. But I didn't mean it in a mean, hateful way. It was
no, that's good.
Like life's a bitch. You got to roll with it. But the laugh sounded maniacal, like I had planned it.
Here's the difference between D and a normal person is you had pause, but then you powered through anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I had that voice that was like, don't second guess yourself, bro. That was funny. Boom, send it.
Oh, good. Shit. So I got tagged in this message over the weekend, which I think people kind of consider me maybe a little bit of a crusader because I don't have the this constraints of like lawyers and like the news does or whatever. So if someone does something wrong, then I may take it up more than others. And Chris, your sister has a little suggestion for you. You get the murderous look off your face.
This is just my normal face. I'm not gonna change it for you. I will not be
Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
He looks like he just read they canceled one of his favorite shows.
I'm still in mourning over Firefly.
right. So anyway, there's Mike from Mike's Pizza. Now, obviously, local business. I'm not really one to call out local. I try not to call out local business. I can't say it's never happened, but when I look at this and I see we've had incidences like this in the past, and we've on this comment. I mean, there's dozens of ex-employees who corroborate, what the type of thing that was said here. So it's not just a couple. I feel that it's fair to share. It's not one incident from one person that other people. I remember, the guy's a Trumper, and I remember, which is whatever. But I remember him, not having not having to have his people wear masks and whatever. He's that kind of guy. He's the type of guy that Gina hates from doing. She does social media. Kind of type of guy that will battle with custom, and I've got some of that in me too. That will battle with customers like that.
Just
post
a Sousson.
Please, if you own a business and you use social media, please, for the love of God, shut up and do not argue on Facebook. It's the worst thing you can do for a business. The worst.
Okay. So Mike's he's one of those guys. I want to say something else, and I'm not going to be able to find it right now, and I don't have a clear thought on it, but it's a side note that a lot of these, and I know it's hard to find employees. I get it. It's hard right now. They get the extra $300. I get it. But there are other people that are taking the right, Fox News and those type of people are taking that narrative and trying to use it against, it's a political ploy. They're trying to use it against people because really what it's exposing is the minuscule wages of people that have been paid and been allowed to get away with for so long because the economy in this country is so far skewed against the little guy. But so it's taken a nasty turn, and there are business owners who are crying about the employee thing just because it fits the narrative and it's a catch-all. Oh, you had shitty service. Oh, well, I can't find employees. Oh, you did this. Oh, I can't find employees. Oh, the food is bad. Oh, I can't find. So they're using that and in reinforcing the narrative. And now you can't even fight that. It's such a tidal wave. You can't fight that. Everyone's just saying everyone's sitting at home. No one wants to work because they're getting the extra $300 and fuck Biden and whatever. I mean, that's just the narrative. That narrative can't be fought because it's just so ingrained into people deeply by now. That being said, this guy Mike's Pizza in Oregon, which closed, but he's got one or two other locations. Says this girl says not due to people not wanting to work as he has claimed, but due to the fact that this is how Mike treats his employees. So now he doesn't have enough people to run his shifts. This is nothing new either. He can't keep employees because not only does he not take care of his store, but he also mistreats his employees as well. The text message was sent to one of the most hardworking employees I've ever known because Mike decided to hold their check even after they turned their keys and shirt in and also put in their 2 weeks notice. The place is a joke, and quite honestly, I hope they never reopen. So here's what Mike said to an employee. They go back and forth, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sure that this employee wasn't innocent. I'm sure it was a nasty back and forth by both of them. And it's taken a little bit out of context, obviously, because I don't think I have the whole message. But it says, this is what one of his replies or final replies were, "You little bitch boy, I may send my youngest daughter to fuck you up. You obviously don't have a clue of where I come from and involved in. You may want to just shut your ball wraps before you run that vag mouth of yours. Funny how you punks don't know who you're dealing with. Until you die with your intestines hanging out of your belly, truly amazes me how you punks are still alive."
Wait. Does that mean died with intestines outside of his belly? Like, how does he know that? I don't get that comparison.
No, it's not a comparison. It's a threat.
Is it a predator?
Not a comparison.
What's going on?
It sounds like you said a comparison. Like, until you do this, you won't be this. And I'm like,
No.
yeah, you'll be dead. So, like,
So
weird. It's a weird phrasing.
Your mic is kind of goofy. Tifos was like cutting off like the beginning of your phrase. I don't know if there's adjustment or not, but whatever. I'm just letting you know. And then anyway, so then there's people that have commented, like I said, former employees that have the same types of experiences. Former other people that have said, whatever. It basically said, yeah, that's the type of shit that he pulls. I can't. That's a little rough. I'm talking about, you don't know who I'm involved. I mean, just the threats and the.
Where do we get the text from? Is that on Facebook somewhere? Like,
yeah, it was shared. It's been shared in some groups. It's got like hundreds of shares, and someone tagged me. I found out because someone tagged me in it. They've tagged 13 ABC. They've tagged a bunch of people. Here's another one. I used to work here. I heard Mike once say to a 15-year-old girl that he could, quote, see her pee lips because she was wearing yoga pants. Okay. Got sexually harassed my entire time being there with not shit done about it, except giving the creep a promotion to manager, and was told to suck it up, basically.
Look, okay. So this is not the fact that he's a Trumpster or the fact that, like, he may pay low wages. He's just a bad person, right?
Right.
So let's take that for what it is. It's not, because I when you talked about, having it hard to find employees, you guys have all seen that meme that's like, $14 an hour is $600, blah blah blah. Unemployment is
640 or something.
Yeah, that meme is disingenuous on its face, because what it doesn't take into account is taxes and Social Security. So that $600 a week that you're making, you're really not.
Most jobs available are part-time.
Yeah, you're really not making that money. You're probably making closer to like $300 a week, if we want to be honest. But this Mike from Mike's Pizza, who kind of wants to go back and forth and tell people that he has criminal intentions and he has criminal connections, and he has no compunction of whether or not he could kill an employee, which is basically what it is. And he's a homophobe. I mean, we can look at all these things from what he has said in this post and pick out his character flaws. Now, it's unfortunate that, like, you want to brag about your criminal running a legal business, but that's his thing. He likes to feel like a big shot, and he wants people to be afraid of him. And fear is much better than respect for most people, and they'll put it out there. So what'll happen? He'll get what's coming to him. Plain and simple. People should stop buying pizzas or whatever they get from him.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's pretty disgusting. And like I said, I don't like. I really do hate doing that type of shit. But when it's that many and that blatant, I think talking about it is okay.
Dude, you know what? Yeah. I will say this time, and like, especially, this seems like we're in this crucible where things of impurity are getting burned off and exposed. It, like, people show their true colors. Eventually people try and try and try. I do believe that people who are good-hearted and really want to change can change, but this guy isn't that kind of cat.
No. Here's a t-shirt that someone made. Georgia sent it to us in the group. She says, "You can't hurt my feelings. I already work at Mike's Pizza and more." So anyway, I just thought that was wild, and I thought I would share it with you guys.
Crazy.
This portion of show brought to you by Teebs of Adrian, a medicinal and
the guy who probably should visit. Honestly,
right? He's like, before you send a text, make sure you eat a gummy, give it a little while.
Yeah.
And then
like,
if you still feel that way,
we should play a game like where we pull like little things from Facebook and go high or not high.
High, not high, or should be high.
Should be high, right?
I mean, that's a very easy answer because everyone should be high. That's what we're gonna go with.
So Teams of Adrian, recreational, medicinal, they have them both. And really, I'm excited because I don't partake in cannabis, but everyone I know does. And it's silly because these people aren't criminals. So it really needs to happen quickly, and it's starting to happen, to come to the point where, you know what, it's not a big deal. Like, can we stop with the bullshit, and let's, like, I don't know. We're finally, the tide is finally changing to where you realize, hey, it's not about someone breaking the law when all you're doing is freaking taking a gummy. It's fucking ridiculous. So
Dude, have you watched that show Rebel? No. With the Peggy Bundy in it. What's her name?
No, it looks good. It's about who's that?
Aaron Brockovich.
Aaron Brockovich. Yeah. I want to see it. I haven't seen. Is it good?
Yeah, it is good. But like, it is so weird to see like how cultural norms have changed as you watch shows now, because this girl was like getting kicked out of her apartment, and she was like, and they were like, well, what are you going to do? She goes, I'm going to go to my friend Katie's house and I'm going to smoke a bowl and unwind. And like, back in the day, smoke, that was like, I'm going to go grab a drink. Like, that's when you had a bad day. In the 80s, people went and grabbed a drink. 2021, people are sitting there like smoking bowls, and you see, like, it's really like to look back and go, did you ever think you'd see a time like this? Well, it's
some of that too, D, is really, and I hate bringing it back. It's not really politics, but these people, it's part of how Trumpers have gotten to where they are. Society is moving too fast. Like, it didn't, because of social media, things used to happen before social media. Things used to evolve slowly over decades. And you could see even Obama, who was against gay marriage in like the beginning of his presidency, by the end, obviously was embracing it because the times have changed, but they changed just in his presidency in that small amount of time. But now things are changing so lightning fast. Some people are scared or don't like it. They're like, hey, I like the old way. I don't want to have to explain to my kids why two dudes are kissing. I don't want to have to explain to my kids why they shouldn't smoke marijuana. There are a lot of things that people are scared of. So they're like, hey, I want to make America great again, back when it was white picket fences, and I didn't have to worry about all this shit. So a lot of it has come from that. And I mean, for me, I've always said, dude, as long as you're not doing something that's affecting me, I don't give two fucks what you do. I don't care if you love guys or girls. I just, none of it. I just don't care. I mean, I have too much of my own shit to worry about in my own life. I can't worry about what you're doing and other people are doing.
Dude, when I was single, I loved gay men. Who needed all that competition? Those cats were always at the gym. Their bodies were tight. Nobody, like, I could not. Look, if it was a choice between me and a fit gay dude, I'd lose that competition every day.
I know. I don't want to be competing with you. I
want you two. I want my competition dating each other.
I just enjoy the free drinks, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's be real. You are kind of like a bear. Yeah.
Bear.
The gays love me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
I don't think you should put the word "the" in front of any people.
Yeah, that's true.
The blacks,
it's true.
The Jews. Yeah, maybe not.
But yeah, you realize you just gave people some sound bits there, Andrew. But yeah, no, it's like if I was, I'm living proof that being gay is not a choice. Because if I could choose to be gay and get laid on the reg, that would be an easy choice. Yeah, but no, I'm stuck being straight and getting rejected. So
Teams of Adrian, Teams.green. Go to Teams in Adrian. Teams.green is the website. Also by Lawn Greetings of Toledo. Lawn, say it in the lawn instead of in a card. God, is it frost on the freaking?
Yes. Oh, yes, it is.
Just looked out the window. I looked out the window because for Mother's Day, Colleen got to wake up to a nice lawn greeting saying Happy Mother's Day right in her lawn.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. And then she looked at me and said, "Oh, that's sweet. Thank you so much, babe. That's not a present, right?"
It's not.
Love her.
It's not. You just literally just put a calendar reminder in the lawn.
It's part of it.
Yes,
It's part of it.
So
She
You
knows
did
what
get her
fucking day
something
it
else,
is.
right?
yes, I got
Okay.
her. I got her ice cream from Mr. Freeze. Hello, is this?
Okay, good for
I
you.
was waiting. I'm sorry. Was that?
Was that it?
I
Do we have
thought
a
you were
bad,
And
starting
Are
a
you-
list.
Are you her son?
or do we have a bad computer connection? I just
Ice cream
Stop.
from Mr. Freeze, lawn greeting. What else?
What? She ain't his mom.
It's his job to buy
You
her
want to
stuff
know?
from the
You
kid.
want to put that? You talked to Josie. Maybe she should have gotten her shit together. How about that?
I should have said that. I'm like, hey, you're not my mom. Why should I? What else?
Yeah.
did
My
Oh,
mom
don't
passed
ever
away
say
and
that.
absolved me of all that responsibility.
Oh,
Gina.
poor Colleen.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't get a phone call last night.
Long greetings of
She calls me and says, "You know what your friend did?" I'm like, "Whoa, wait a minute.
all the time. I know.
Friend
Why
is
is he
the wrong
my
word.
friend when you're pissed?"
So here's what I wanted to say before, just real quick, and it won't be more than 30 seconds on this Mike's Pizza thing and the whole thing about how no one wants to work because there's that extra $300 out there. Here's what Amber Dawn said, and I couldn't have wrote it this eloquently. So when I saw it, I was like, wow, yes. But again, you can't go against the tide of. People are lazy. It's just that's what's out there. That's what's been portrayed, and you can't fight that. That's what even normal people are saying that now. Girl, yeah, on Facebook or whatever. So you can't fight the narrative. But here's what she said: people are tired of working for poverty wages with no benefits. For the first time ever, for some, they have a cushion to try and find something better. Workers' organizations are trying to use this leverage to get wages up and untie insurance from employment or get better benefits at least. Is the only UI is only a small portion of the very complicated story rooted in the corporate greed that's been allowed to run roughshod over the heart of the country, the working people. Also, if you're getting more than UI than you usually make, it's because you were being exploited. 100%. I mean, that right there says it all. If you're
sounds like a lot of
I
communist
can't.
propaganda.
You're moving too much. Just read it.
If your employees make
It says if your employees make more on unemployment, you're not a job creator. You're a poverty exploiter.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to read it like this.
Yeah. I hate cameras. Cameras are so stupid.
I just want to say Moonlight's no, Georgia, leave it up there. I'm fighting with Georgia. You can't use the argument of I made you a mom. You wouldn't have Mother's Day without me. You cannot use it. They said, Andrew, you gave her the gift of children. No.
Yes.
No.
Thank you,
No.
Moonlit.
I did say Happy Mother's Day, you're welcome yesterday. And Ashley just looked at me like confused. Like, what?
If it wasn't for me, you couldn't even celebrate this holiday.
Yeah.
Be thankful.
Yeah. People would be wondering whether or not they should say Happy Mother's Day to you. How about that?
Sometimes it's really hard being the only female on this show.
Dude,
And I miss Ashley every day she's not on.
I know.
there's some days.
Back or what?
I don't know. You should hear the jokes I didn't say that I'm thinking right now.
All right. Hey, real quick, Tifel, what are you saying about what that girl wrote? What communist propaganda? What are you trying to say?
That was just a joke. But I was saying the problem with this fight. I mean, it's a good time to have it because obviously people have the money and the time, and employers are seeing a squeeze. But the problem is, all the employers know that there's a silver lining at the end.
September's
because
coming.
It's the extra $300 is going to end, and when the extra $300 is going to end, people are still going to need money, and they're not going to have to change a damn thing.
But see, that's not true because some of these businesses won't be in business by the end of September.
Yeah, they're either going to
and
raise wages or get up with the times and get out.
And there have been some that have raised wages, but they're only doing it temporarily. until the
Well,
squeeze
that's
is over.
why I think right now, just here's my advice to everybody that is getting unemployment. Right now, the next like 30 to 45 days, I'm guessing, is going to be the peak time to get a job. Like, if you're looking, go out, get a job now, because they're paying wages, good wages, decent jobs. They're like giving the world right now. And then but come September, if you wait till August, September, then everything's going to they're going to, right now they're hiring for $17 an hour, but come August and September, they're only going to be hiring for $12 an hour. So get a job now.
But come August, September, your employer is going to come to you and say,
No, they're
well,
not.
$17.
No, they're not.
They can do that.
No,
I don't
no.
think you can.
No.
Can and will are two different things, people.
Unless you have a signed contract, they 100% can and will.
No, they won't. I disagree with that stance, Christopher.
I do too.
Like the fast food places around here are saying, "Oh, we're hiring at $15 an hour," and then if you read the little fine print, it's temporarily.
It does say
yeah, some of them will, and that's why they can't find people, Tifo. The ones that are paying the better wages. Lucky's in Oregon raised their wages for the kitchen staff. They're not having as many problems. Can I talk, Tifo? Thank you. Close your little.
You guys interrupt me all the goddamn time, and then you want to yell at me for interrupting you. No, that doesn't work that way. Either you don't interrupt me, or you get to yell at me for interrupting you. You don't get.
So anyways, what I was saying was Lucky's in Oregon isn't having as big of problems getting people now because they raised their wages. They're not going to turn around and take those wages away from the people, but come August, September, they're not going to be paying that same wage if they're looking for people.
To the new people. Yeah, you have to reward the people that have come in early and elected to take it over sitting over at home and collecting.
I think you guys have way too much faith in employers to say that they're not going to take away those higher wages when they can.
I don't disagree. In the old days, and this is why Make America Great has taken hold again. Make America Great again, because in the olden days, it was a partnership. The company was rewarding you with pensions and retirements and good benefits and good wages in return for your work. And at some point, this country has went backwards, and you were just thankful to have a job. And like Walmart is the fucking worst company. But I'm going to go on a diatribe, and if it ends up being boring, just tell me. But
okay, I'm telling you now.
When it comes to customer service,
I've been out for a while.
I've been out for a while. When it comes to customer,
I was thinking of all the different flavors of Pop-Tarts. I was like,
when it comes to customer service, Walmart made a business decision years ago, and that business decision was they're going to put very little into customer service because they don't give two fucks, because they know if the prices are lower, people are going to continue to come back. So there's no reason to treat them well. It doesn't matter how you treat them. And you could see that in Walmart now. They don't give two fucks if you walk in the door or don't. So that's a conscious business decision to do that. The other thing is the conscious business decision is to pay them less wages, below poverty line wages, because then they're eligible for food stamps and Medicare and all these other benefits from the government that now they don't have to pay. So instead of paying someone a decent wage on their end and giving them all these benefits, well, why should I? I'm going to pay you a shitty wage, and then you just get all the benefits of the government. So in the end, it's hurting all us taxpayers. When companies take this strategy, but they're being rewarded to do that because the system that they have set up, rich people have set up, they've been able to benefit and take advantage of workers all this time. And the other thing too is a living wage should be you work 40 hours. You shouldn't have to work 60 hours a week in 4 jobs, which right now people have to do. They call them side hustles because it sounds better than having to know that you're working 2 or 3 or 4 jobs. You have to have 3 or 4 of them just to survive. You should be able to work 40 hours, and it should be a law. If you work 40 hours, then your pay should be at or above the poverty line. There's no way you should have to work 40 hours and then still be below the poverty line, have to work 50, 60, 70 hours just to be able to make it. It just shouldn't be that way. It's just not right. But our society is set up that way right now. We are so pro the big businesses, and so screw the little guy right now. It's just completely out of whack the way we're doing things.
And the poverty line is a BS thing too.
Well, yeah, I don't know how they get that.
Well, I mean, because there are other things like say you were making right at the poverty line or just above the poverty line, and say you got arrested for something, and you can't afford a lawyer because you're making just above the poverty line, but then that also disqualifies you from getting a public defender on there because you make too much money and can technically afford your own lawyer.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. Healthcare is still out of reach for you on there, but you don't qualify for benefits because you make above the poverty line. Things like that. So
when you're right at that line, it sucks so bad because after you pay for everything, you're making below the poverty line, but they don't take into consideration your insurance, taxes, and all that stuff. So you're technically living below the poverty line, but they go by the gross. And when you're at that line, it sucks really bad.
Yeah.
I never understood why they always go by your gross pay when they know for a fact they're going to be taking however much money out in taxes and in fees and everything from your pay. Yeah. But let's go by this fantasy number that you technically earn, but we're not paying you.
Okay. One last thing on this. There's a Washingtonian staff has gone on publishing strike after CEO's op-ed about remote work. A Washingtonian magazine staffers launched a day-long protest on Friday in response to an op-ed by their bosses who warned that continuing to work from home as the pandemic subsides could make employees less valuable and easier to let go. She's the CEO of the District of Columbia-centered magazine, shared her concerns about the popularity of remote work in Washington, says, quote, as a CEO, I want my employees to understand the risks of not returning to work in the office, to work from home and pop in only when necessary. It creates a strong incentive for bosses to convert full-time workers into contractors who get paid by the hour or output and lack benefits such as healthcare coverage and retirement accounts. She's right. I mean, she's absolutely right. And you're easier to let go because this business it's about relationships. So if you can't build a relationship, it's easier to let somebody go that you hardly know than it is you have to see every day and know their family and hang out with them and go get a drink after 5. I mean, I don't know why I don't know why there'd be a strike to that because they don't want to get back in the office. But I mean, I have no problem with working at home, but that is going to be one of the downsides. You're easier to let go because there's no personal connection with you if something goes down.
I'm just surprised people are fighting going back in the office. You got hired and you got hired for a job that was in the office. It's only through extraordinary circumstances you're being allowed to work from home. You knew eventually they were going to want you back in the office, and now everyone's acting all shocked Pikachu face over it.
Because we think that a lot of things we have changed by necessity. The whole world has changed, and we can see that you can work at home and still be effective. So some people are saying, hey, well, why not? If we know we can do that, why not just let us continue to do that? What's the issue? So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Tifel, but we can't go back to what happened before pandemic. The world has changed.
Why not?
America has changed in a lot of ways.
It changed, but it only changed in response to the pandemic. It didn't change because we naturally made this change over time.
I understand it.
It was an immediate emergency change.
I agree.
And now we're going back to life as normal. Life as normal is your ass is in the office.
It changed by necessity, but if it changed for the better, then why can't we adopt that change for good? That's how change happens. Change happens by necessity, and then you're like, oh, that's better. Like if our wheels were square for all this time, and all of a sudden, oh man, these square wheels, the car's not going anywhere, and so all of a sudden the wheels are round. We used to have square wheels. Why are you putting round ones on? Because by necessity, it's better that way. So if we found a better way because of the pandemic, why would you want to go back to the way that wasn't as good?
I don't see the office as not. No, I don't see the office as being in the office is not as good as you said right there. You just point out a huge downside of you being easier to fire. She also pointed out the downside to encourage the employer to no longer consider you an employee and transfer you to contract work, which gets rid of your benefits and things like that.
I'm not saying.
So the thing is that employers being assholes is not a good enough reason. Like they're going to be assholes if we keep working from home. That's you don't think that that's a problem.
I'm not saying it's not I'm not saying that it's not a problem, but I mean, they're the ones with the job. So if they say come into the office, you come into the damn office.
I think it depends on the job. I think it's a case by case basis. I think it's just kind of a hard subject to talk about if we're not talking about a specific industry or a specific job, because there's so many variables.
Oh, sure. And this has to be the jobs that you can work from home, right? And it makes sense to work from home. Obviously, Donnie, it would be very hard for you to sell cars working from home. That would make it difficult.
Demetrius, go ahead.
Yep. You know what though? But there are dealerships though that I've seen that do like virtual car tours. But here's the thing that about working from home is what that has shown employers is that they no longer need the office space. In an industry that I was working in, a lot of people, like I will say, this insurance company had a ton of buildings, headquarters, where satellite offices, and then COVID hit, and then they realized that they could push their employees home. They could push their employees home. Their employees could still do the exact same amount of work. And now they don't have to eat the bill for the office space. So they closed down 75% of what they felt was unnecessary office space. So now everybody's working from home. There's not a commute time that you got to worry about. And what employers have found is that now your capacity to take on more work has increased because now you're home. Now there's you've gained that commute time. You've gained, because most people snack from home. They don't really take a lunch. You've probably eaten up some of their lunchtime. And all of this has proved to save employers money.
I agree. So, I mean, but this is how things evolve. And we talked about it earlier. It's just evolving faster than people maybe thought they would or would have liked to, or maybe it's uncomfortable for some people, but it happens. This portion show brought to you in part. Go ahead. Were you going to say something, Gina?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've been working from home for a long time now, and I have a lot of people that are like, oh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky you work from home. And I'm like, man, the grass is always greener. Trust me, working from home. And now that everybody's working from home, they're like, man, this is kind of hard to do. And it makes me, I'm really feeling validated right now. I just want everybody to know that working from home is really hard because there's always a distraction, like there's always a dish in the sink. There's always laundry to do. There's always something to do. So what normal people, if I went into an office, I could get my stuff done in, 5 to 8 hours and go home. And instead it takes me, 10, 12 hours to get the stuff done because I'm running around constantly doing other things too. So all this work from home, I just want to say is making me feel so validated with all these people that are finally getting it and not looking at me like, oh, you're so lucky.
And the other side, I like the interaction of people. Like some people love working at home and they go into this isolationist mode. I like being out. I want to drive. I want to be out. I want to talk to people. I just want to be and to me a phone call is not the same. I just want to see people. And so the work from home thing, I mean it's nice, but I don't think that's something that I would like to do. Go ahead, Tifo.
Gina just pointed out another effect from the working at home, and that's she kind of glossed over. It was just the psychological effect it has on you. There's no separation between your home and your work time. So
it's true.
I come to work, I get off, I go home, I'm at home. Whereas if I'm working at home, I clock out. Maybe or whatever, but I'm still at home. People find themselves working hours after their shift is ended on there instead of just logging off and going and being home.
Well, boundaries are hard.
Yeah, it is. It's like I tell that same with business ownership. Like I envy sometimes. Like they're like, you're always on your phone, or I'll send a message to somebody and I won't get answers for a while. Like my ex-wife, because she's got the luxury of knowing when she leaves work at 3:00 or whatever, because her kids are with her. There's no reason to touch the phone other than maybe once before you go to bed. And then when you go to work next day, because once you leave work, they ain't calling you. And for me, like if I can't leave my phone because work could be 24/7. Messages come in all the time and everything. So I do envy people sometimes that can just detach because they know work ain't calling. I clocked out. They ain't calling until I come in the next day. Unless I don't show up, I don't have to hear from work. So the boundaries are still clearly set, and for a lot of more people are doing their own thing, and it's and you realize, like you said, there is no, it's everything is just mushed, and it could be at all times. This portion of the show brought to you in part by Lufka All Natural. Lufka, they specialize in skincare that's all natural and cleaning products that are all natural. Really a great company. You have to go check them out. They really is a neat store, and just the idea behind them. They do handmade soaps and they do candles and things like that. So check them out. But it's a lot more. I don't want to think it's just a candle shop because anyone could pour wax. There's just so much more to it. Really fascinating to check out. I promise you, on Boundary, on South Boundary, in the Country Charm shops in Perrysburg.
I'm setting up a weekly date with my mom to take her out to lunch and go to these little shops, and Luca's on my list.
Oh yeah, please. That'd be awesome. Good people over there. DMX Lawn and Landscape, been in business for 7 years. Look at our lawn. We need to get them out here. This rain, I'm sure your lawn is big. If you haven't got a lawn service lined up for yourself yet, and you don't do it yourself, like Demetrius, then make sure you call DMX Lawn and Landscape. DMX, make you mow your lawn up in here. All right, Chris Tiefel, WTF News, Ebenezer Bushrod.
All right. Well, today we have a story out of Texas. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of the DWI dude, but he's a pretty famous Texas lawyer who represents DWI cases in the state. But he also does some drug trafficking cases, and that is what got him into some hot water recently. He's been sentenced to 15 years in prison for pretty much defrauding Colombian drug lords. So they would, between meetings in Texas and meetings down in Colombia, he would insinuate to these drug lords, because apparently he has some big brass cojones, that if they pay extra attorney fees, that the extra would then be converted into bribes to U.S. politicians and prosecutors, and get their charges dropped and their cases and their sentences commuted and things like that. And so these drug lords paid the money, and then he pocketed the money to himself. So now these Colombian drug lords, you would figure, would respond to this sort of action by sending people after him, killing him, giving him a necktie, that sort of thing. But no, instead, these Colombian drug lords went to the FBI and they said, "Hey, Mr. FBI, look, we know you don't like us. This guy's totally ripping us off, and it's pissing me off."
You can't do that. Like let's say, you always hear about the guy calling 911 because the drug dealer gave him some bullshit drugs. It seems like you can't do that. You can't call the FBI if you're drug lords and be like, these guys stole some money from me.
But they did, and the guy went to jail. So
Because do you know how easy that is? I mean, now he's got a record, and you just sent him to prison where you're probably surrounding him with a bunch of your ex-employees for real. Like, you're going to jail and you're getting murdered. There's no but that's got to be an awesome call. They're like, yes, FBI headquarters. Who? Hold on. Sir, we have Mr. Omar Escobar on the phone. Says he wants to file yes. Picture number 4 on the wall is calling. Yes,
picture number 4.
He says there's a problem with his legal billing. I know, right? Legal billing. Yes, he says he's run over the numbers and he's got the receipts. He says he's being overcharged. All right, I'll put him through. I don't think you'll like it.
Thaddeus Chalice brought up a great point. He goes, just to show no one likes lawyers. Even the FBI is like, I'd rather deal with the drug lords than fucking lawyers.
Yeah.
that's the ultimate Karen move. like drug lord Karens. I can't. Excuse me, I'd like to speak to your manager, United States.
Right?
Yeah, there's probably some betting in Vegas on how long that guy lasts in prison.
Right.
That's so sad.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I mean, he made his own bed. He's also been made to give up his building as well, his offices as part of
Because
his
now he
punishment.
can work from home.
Yeah. Don't need them anymore.
We're from jail.
Well, this is a story that some of you may have already seen, but I just wanted to highlight it because it's hilarious to me. Is 4-year-old Noah Ruiz. He loves
I
ice
love
cream
this story.
and he loves SpongeBob. And so when his mom gave him her laptop to do some remote schoolwork, when his iPad went on the fritz, he navigated over to her Amazon account that she shares with her sister. And he found his two loves in one package. And he ordered 51 cases of SpongeBob ice cream and had them shipped to his aunt. And he kept saying, his mom said, I should have known something was up because for a few days he kept just saying the number 51. And she didn't think much of it because he repeats stuff a lot because, he's a toddler and that's what they do.
Right.
And so, but then that's when she got the call from her sister that she had just received 51 cases of SpongeBob ice cream, totaling around $2,619.
Wow.
Amazon won't take it back because it was a third-party seller, and their credit card company is currently investigating it at the moment to see if they can get a refund on them.
Time to make a lemonade stand.
They had a GoFundMe. They started GoFundMe to help, and it really, really did well, which is phenomenal. So that's fun. I thought that story made me really happy. I mean, it would have made me happy if it was my kid. I'd have been hot.
Yeah, exactly.
D, why are you pissed, D? Are you contemplating if Cohen should accidentally order something? I'll start a GoFundMe for you.
No, I don't. And that's what's got me all consternated is the fucking GoFundMe page for
here we go
for SpongeBob ice cream. Look, your kid
2,600 would have took me out too.
First of all, come get it. Come get it. Let them look $2,600. But somebody's got to go. Everybody knows that the company's like, somebody's going to go. We understand this is a mistake. We're not going to charge you. Now, the fact that how much money did she raise for this ice cream?
The last I looked, people had it up
$23,000. Are you shitting me? It should have stopped at $2,000
because now people wanted to donate. They wanted to. You can
pay the bill and then give the money back.
Listen, when you get on the GoFundMe, you can see how much has been donated of their. So it was 2,600. You know that they're at the last time I looked, it was over 10,000. People still continue to donate. That's because they wanted to. The kid's cute. It's funny. They got a little extra money. They want to throw them $5 or $10.
A little extra money is $500, not 20 grand.
Let people enjoy something. Let them have fun. Let them do nice.
Go ahead, Donnie.
Be nice. Have fun.
Forgetting about the real victim is the guy that sold 51 cases of ice cream and thought he made the best deal of his life.
Oh yeah, the guy who just
they're going to cancel the credit card charge.
Do they have
the credit card companies investigating it and cancel the charge?
That happened to me yesterday. I was at Jed's because I run the Jed's in Fallen Timbers now for a buddy of mine, and dude, this lady called and ordered like 12 things. So I made the 12, and then she called after like 20 or 30 minutes. I made 12 things. It was a pain in my ass to do 12, but I did it. I gotta go. Hey, okay, see, Gina. As I made 12 things, and they're wrapped up and everything. Then she calls and says, "Well, where's the food?" I'm like, "It's here." And DoorDash, they hadn't come picked it up yet. She's like, "Well, I thought it'd be here in like 20 minutes." I'm like, "Well, we got it made. It's here." And DoorDash didn't have a driver assigned or whatever. So then I get the cancellation that she cancels her order and I don't. It shouldn't make me mad because DoorDash reimburses you when the food's already made. They reimburse you, but still, I was like, all this delicious food is going to go to waste.
Hold on, I'm on it. I'm starting your GoFundMe right now. Hold on.
Thank you.
Who's ordering from DoorDash and expecting 20 minutes?
Right.
Well, you got to
You're
remember.
looking at an hour minimum.
Well, I know, but you see, you live in Toledo. I get DoorDash works. I've just realized it because now running this one over at Fallen Timbers Mall, the suburbs, DoorDash runs differently. There aren't as many drivers out there because there aren't as many people, so there's not as much volume. So drivers don't hang out in the suburbs. You know, it's all in Toledo, so it's hard to find drivers. Even though the tips are decent, or seem to be better from what the drivers are saying, the tips are better, but there just aren't as many orders. So, so they don't hang out, and it's hard to find drivers in the burbs. Donnie, go ahead. You going to say something?
Oh well, no. I was just reminds me of a time we're talking about like returning stuff. I didn't mean to change the subject.
No, go ahead.
Like. There were like 15 years ago when eBay was big, I was like, I'm going to sell stuff on eBay, you know, like, but the big thing about that is you just have to get things like cheap, you know? So anyway, I sold a watch once, shipped it across the country, and you can do your own return policy. And I put on there, I said, no returns unless item is like damaged or presented otherwise, other than the pictures. And I had like 20 pictures up there. And this lady just didn't like the watch. She's like, I want to return it. I was like, well, is it broken? Did you not like it? And she's like, well, it's just not what I thought it was. I was like, well, you know, there's no returns unless it's like broken or it's not what you thought it was. She's like, well, I'm going to return it anyways. So she returned it. She just sent it back to me, and eBay just like gave her money back. I was like, I think I'm done on eBay. Yeah.
That's the problem is when you run this, that the customer has all the power, because if you get a bad review, then you're screwed. So like even when they aren't entitled, you still want to go, you need to go above and beyond because you don't want the bad review or whatever. Don't want to get reported because their follow up is shitty. It's automatic. As soon as you report it, you're basically the one that's wrong.
But good on her though. She sent it all the way back to my house. Like it like showed up at my house. I was like, oh, all right.
Which is crazy because I didn't give her my address.
All right. eBay must have told her.
eBay, stop giving out my shit.
During the pandemic, you know, here in the States, during the quarantine stuff, lockdowns, everything, you know, we went through different stages. We had the Tiger King stage, we had the bread baking stage, you know, things like that. Well, surprise, surprise, other countries had different stages as well. And in the UK, one of their stages was gardening. Everybody suddenly got into gardening. And they wanted to plant pretty flowers or vegetables and things like that. And they, you know, shared ideas. And one of the things they liked was garden gnomes. Everybody wanted to get garden gnomes, whether it was a stone, ceramic, or plastic garden gnome, just to have a little buddy out in the garden with you. And so, but thanks to the Suez Canal incident, in which the ship got stuck and blocked shipping for a week or so, there is now a large shortage of garden gnomes in the UK.
I can't take any more shortages.
Consternation. It is causing some consternation among the populace there that they are unable to get the garden gnomes with which they desire.
There's also there's also a pickle spear shortage. I found out when I was trying to get pickle spears for the menu over there at.
I can't. I can't take any more shortages, you guys.
Is there a cucumber shortage?
Yes.
Like I would have to track that back to a cucumber shortage, and people tell me, "Oh my God, we have a pickle shortage," and I would go, "But do we have a cucumber shortage?" Because I haven't read anything about a cucumber shortage.
Yes,
it just seems like you don't want to pickle a cucumber.
It's a genius point. There automatically, if there was a pickle shortage, there automatically has to be a cucumber shortage, and I haven't heard of a cucumber shortage. So what is going on? What is really going on?
I can walk into Kroger and show you a million cheap sexual toys.
Dude, I have a game. Just name a thing, and I'll tell you if there's a shortage or not. Just yell out anything.
Okay.
Chicken, yes. There is
Yes.
a wing. I will tell you, there's a chicken
Yes.
wing. Chicken wings have gone from about $85 a case to about $135 a case over the pandemic. Yeah, for 40 for 40 pounds.
Toenail clippers. Yes, there's a shortage. People's toenails are growing at an alarming rate, breaking through clippers, and you cannot buy clippers. They used to be $5 at the store. Now they're 25.
Jesus.
Anybody else got a guess?
Water. Is there a water shortage?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
No, there can't be a water shortage.
Amount of water.
No, that was still the most mind-blowing thing I've ever learned on this show. Is that the amount of water on this planet never changes.
I'm drinking water a raptor drank 3 million years ago or 50 million years ago. All right.
You are.
So
Raptor
we're
water.
good. It's raptor water.
How's it taste? How's the raptor water taste?
A little tangy. All right. So
dead Triceratops. Sorry.
I could tell. I could taste a hint of Triceratops in my water today.
All right. So a little last but not least, I bring you a story of Ohio State Senator Andrew Brenner. Some of you may have heard this story. Most of you probably ignored it. Andrew Brenner, most of the Ohio legislature is meeting by Zoom calls these days because of COVID. And Brenner is not an exception. He joined him,
pleasuring himself.
He joined a meeting of the Ohio Controlling Board. Most of the members of legislatures that were there joined from their homes, but Brenner joined from his parked vehicle. Initially, and then after doing the roll call, making sure he was present, he turned off his camera, activated his Zoom background to make it look like he was sitting in an office, and was then seen during the call driving. What he didn't realize was that you have the background that makes it look like you're in an office, but we can still see you using your mirrors and the fact that you're wearing a seatbelt on there. This was last Monday. He has since admitted to it, that he was actually driving while in the meeting. He claims it's no different than just being on the phone. He doesn't pay attention to the video when he's driving. It doesn't distract him any more than just being on a regular phone call.
It is funny, but I agree. I agree with him.
Obviously, I mean, what, you're mad because he checked his mirrors and wore his seatbelt? Really? Are you like, I can't believe you drove so responsibly during this meeting of Ohio controllers who just what? What do they do? I don't like the way this is being run. I think I should take it over. No, John, I think I should take it over. No, I think you're too controlling, Pete. How about that? There's a room full of people who I feel are too controlling.
They all think they should be in charge.
In his hijinks about it probably would have gone a little, unnoticed, or just would have not been a big deal had it not been the same exact day that House Bill 283 was introduced in the Ohio legislature, which is stricter penalties for things like distracted driving, specifically texting or watching video while driving down the road would carry similar penalties as an OVI.
All right, very cool. So thank you, Tiefel. That is.
Then you can get out of your car and scroll through all your videos and see if you how does that sobriety check look like?
The way it was said is if you actually get into an accident while watching a video or texting or something like that, then that's when the penalties come into play. I don't think it comes as a primary way to pull you over. Just like they can't just pull you over for not wearing a seatbelt. It has to be a secondary reason.
Dude, I love Thaddeus Chalice's comment. It was a phone call of controllers, or in most circles we call them dominatrix. They were just pissed at him he wasn't wearing fishnets. On that note, thank you, Chris Stevel, Ebenezer Bushrod, WTF News, for Donnie P, Demetrius Nicodemus, producer Georgia, and Gina. I'm Andrew Z. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Come on!